with a good internet connection, I hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed. No, I'm joking. Hello, everyone. And first thing I want to ask you is if anyone watching this on replay or live has some kind of technical knowledge about live streams, please contact me. Write me an email because I need your help, okay? Because every time I go live on YouTube on these live streams, I have technical problems, and I just spent 1 hour doing tests, on private mode to try to understand better how these YouTube live streams work technically, and I'm not able to. So please, if you have any knowledge, let me know. Hello, Tech7. Hello, Roll with Liz. Oh my God, I finally made it, and I am very sorry that today I am again inside. Even if I have some beautiful nature outside, I have a great new gimbal that I bought just to do these live streams while walking. Yeah, I have a great connection on my phone, but it is raining. So I have to stay inside. At least it's not my usual New York City apartment, but it's a house on the mountains. I'm on the Italian Alps right now, and that's it. This is the typical Alpine house, I would say. You see there is a lot of wood, which is not very common in Italy because we have mainly our houses built in stones and bricks. But up on the mountains, they are usually at least partially built in wood, which I love very much. I think this is a wonderful background for my live stream. Liz, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello, how are you, Liz? I follow your channel. I watch some of your videos. Liz makes videos just like I do. She does cultural comparisons, which are very interesting as well. Gianluca, ciao, ciao Lisa. Hello, David. Hello, ciao da Rimini. I don't live here, Gianluca. Gianluca asked me if I live here. No, this is not where I live. Absolutely. I wish I did though. Hello, Adam. How are you all? Beautiful dress, by the way. Thank you, Take 7. This is actually a new purchase. This is a gift from my husband's sister. So thank you very much, Melte. Hello, Jason. Loris, Mandy. Gregory. Hello, Gregory. Nice to see you too. Un saluto da Firenze. Ciao. I will be there, not in Firenze, not in Florence, but in Tuscany very soon. And I'm gonna make vlogs there, so you will see them at the end of this month. Hello, Jorge. Nice to see you there from California. Giorgio Mandi. United Kingdom. Hi, MJ, Alionur. Hi, Auke. Nice to see you here. I am, as I was saying at the very beginning of this live stream, I am up on the mountains on the Italian Alps. Ciao, Samuele da Rimini. Samuele is new in the community, so let's welcome him, everyone. Benvenuto, Samuele. Carl asked if I will do another Furlan video. I mean, I will certainly do more vlogs located in Friuli. I have already shot some vlogs in Friuli, but I need to edit them. So I have them there, in my archive, and I just need to find, 3-4 full days to edit each one of them, which has been kind of complicated. In the second half of July, as many of you know, for sure my patrons know where I was. I was on a half vacation, let's say, so I haven't been able to work that much. I published the latest video. I edited it while I was on vacation. But yes, I will I will certainly publish more videos from Friuli. Ciao Giorgio da Taranto! Mandi da Udine! Woohoo! That's very close. I am growing my Friulan audience lately because, of course, I'm doing videos from Friuli, so people tend to click on videos that are from their own area because they want to see what people say about them, basically. So yeah, I'm having more and more Italian and especially Friulan audience, which makes me very happy, but I'm not used to it because usually, especially in the live streams, I have people saying, hi from Thailand, hi from Australia, hello from South America somewhere. And this time you people are so close to me, which is very, very nice. Julia asks, do you know the area of Gorizia or Slovenian border? She's talking about an area here in Friuli, in my region, which is at the border with Slovenia. And yes, yes, I'm here. So I even shot one of the vlogs that I have to find the time to edit, is shot at the border with Slovenia in a very beautiful and wild area that is the Natisone Valley, the Valli del Natisone. So you will see that in the next few months. Robert loved your Friuli videos. Thank you very much, Robert. I'm glad to hear. Hello, ciao Agnese. Hi Agnese, one of my patrons. Here in Milan is cloudy and almost cold. Hello, Agnese, here too. So I went from 40 degrees during the day where I was on the Mediterranean in the past couple of weeks, straight to back to Friuli where there are about 20 degrees. So it's yeah, big difference. And it is also raining here too. So what can I say? I feel you, sister. Alionor, thank you very much for the super chat. Wow, today you are also energetic. I'm glad to hear. This is the summer vibes, I guess, right? I haven't been doing a live stream since last spring/winter. So I stopped for a few months. I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad that I'm back. Art K writes, hi from USA. Is Italy cheap? Well, from the point of view of an American, it's cheaper than America, definitely cheaper than America. But Italians are very, very good at exploiting rich tourists. So I don't like this behavior of Italians, so I'm gonna warn all rich tourists who come to Italy. Be careful. Don't go to touristy places because they are not good for you. Gaetano writes, have you ever visited a place where Scipione the African was exiliated and died? It is in Campania, and it is one of the most ancient, how do you say, archaeological reperti. I missed the English word that we have in Italy. Thanks for letting me know, Gaetano. I had no idea, actually. I've never been to this place. Joy, you want to learn Italian? Do it! Come on, do it! Paolo asks, hi MJ, how are you after some weeks in Europe? Are you missing your new home in New York? Oh God, what a question. I feel great after a few weeks in Europe. I feel much healthier, first of all, because I'm eating good food. I am spending more time outdoors. I'm more relaxed. The general environment is way more chill, as I always say in my videos, so I also feel more relaxed. And I'm missing living with my husband, let's say, in New York City. And I miss my cat in New York City, which many of you know, Nico. Other than that, I don't really miss the city all that much. But I think I'm going back there in the fall, and I'm gonna stay the entire fall there, and I look forward to that. So I think that's positive. David DB says, you look happier in Europe. Thank you, David. I think maybe I am, to be honest. Gianluca asks if every 3 minutes in English I can speak 1 minute of Italian. I'm sorry, Gianluca, but you are Italian, but not everyone is. So I'm gonna speak a language that everyone can comprehend, or at least the people who follow my channel, because all my videos are in English. I cannot just switch language now from, you know, out of the blue. Silvio, ciao, un saluto da Auronzo di Cadore. Un saluto anche agli amici friulani qui presenti. Ciao Silvio. Silvio is watching from Auronzo di Cadore, which is very close to Friuli in the nearby region. Also on the mountains. Cadore is a beautiful area on the Italian Alps. B asks, can your husband work from Europe? Move back to Italy, you're happier here. My husband cannot work from Europe, no. He owns a restaurant in New York City, so he's very much rooted in New York City. Maybe in a few years, who knows what's gonna happen. For now, to be honest, I have no problems living half here and half there. I think it's very stimulating for me. I've always loved switching up places. I struggle after 2-3 months that I stay only in one place. I start struggling with that a little bit. I like to switch up places a little bit. So I look forward to this new phase of my life where I'm gonna live a little bit in New York City, a little bit in Friuli, and maybe do a few trips here and there, even to other places. Let's see. Let's see how this pandemic is gonna behave, first of all. Dan Helme, hello Dan, another one of my patrons. Hi MJ, what are your plans for videos now that you are back in Italy? Dan, good questions, good question. So I'm a bit all over the place because I have a few vlogs shot in Italy, and I have a few more to shoot, like experiences that I want to do with even with other people. For example, I'm probably gonna take a bike tour in a very wild area here in Friuli next week or so, or I'm going to bike the Alpe Adria trail with a very good friend of mine, and I would like to vlog that experience, not only for my audience, but especially for me and her, because this way we are gonna have a good memory of it in the next years. And I also have certain videos, certain, you know, talking head videos that I don't know. One I shot this morning, for example, and I don't know when I'm gonna publish, whether I'm gonna publish it now or maybe in the winter, because I have too many videos going on. I would also like to participate to sort of a contest here in Friuli about one of the towns, a town where my mother was born and grew up. So it's sort of a second home for me here in the region. And they organized this competition, like video competition, for who is gonna tell about the history of this town better. So I'm thinking about participating to that. My mother would be very happy about it, so let's see. I have so many ideas, so many things to do, so many things to show, especially. It's crazy. You know, I remember before getting stuck in New York City because of the pandemic, I just started to show a little bit of Friuli in some vlogs, and I remember that I was so embarrassed because I realized that my videos were so bad quality at the time. Now they got much better in these past 2 years that I kept making videos about other subjects. So now I feel a little bit more confident showing Friuli because I know that the quality of my videos is decent enough to show the beauty properly. But back in the days, I was very embarrassed and I didn't want to show bad things. I don't know. I didn't want to show it in a bad way. Alessandro, I'm sorry, I started to read just the latest comments. Rules of my live streams are that I'm not able to talk and follow the chat at the same time. So if you want your comment to be read, you can do a super chat, of course, or you can just wait till I finish a topic. And then that's the moment where I look at the chat and I read the latest comments. Sorry, these are my skills. What can I do about it? Alessandro says, ciao, I'm visiting Friuli, Venezia Giulia, this region, next week. Me and my 15-year-old son. That's so nice. Any tips about unmissable hidden places? We'll visit Trieste, Udine, Dolomiti, San Daniele, Villa Manin, the Museum of the First World War in Gorizia. Oh my God, Alessandro, that's so many places already. How long are you gonna stay, first of all? Because, I mean, in order to visit all these places, I would dedicate at least half a day to 1 day to each one of these. So at least 1 day in Trieste, then 1 day in Udine, at least 1 or 2 days in the mountains, in the Dolomiti Mountains. San Daniele, I would suggest you. San Daniele is a pretty small town that is very famous in Italy for the production of prosciutto. We have one of the most famous prosciutto here. And it is a small town, medieval, very pretty. You can visit it within 1 hour or 2, like you don't need more. But you're gonna stop and eat prosciutto as well and drink some wine. But I suggest you to explore the whole area around it. I imagine you're gonna have a car at your disposal. So you can just take the car and start just, driving around the towns around there. Because this whole area of Friuli that is called Colline Moreniche, so Morenic Hills in English, I believe, is very, very pretty, in my opinion. And that's where I come from also. Ciao Enrico, another one of my Patreons. Very beautiful necklace. Who gave it to you? This one? This one is also from my husband's sister, a very dear marriage gift. Neo99, very interesting question. Are you going to meet up with Urbanist? He's also in Italy. For who doesn't know Urbanist, Urbanist is another YouTube channel. The name of the person who is running it is Ariel. Ariel is from New York City. We met each other there and we did some collaborations together already, both on his channel and on my channel. And he's currently traveling in Italy right now. And the answer is yes. We planned exactly in the last few days, we planned already our meeting in the northeast of Italy. So yes, you're gonna see me live stream on Urbanist channel, showing him my areas of origin. I'm very excited for that. And I think I'm gonna do one live stream with him inside my live stream as well in the meantime. Very excited for that. I love having guests, you know, I really love having guests. And in the past few years, I've only been able to be a guest myself because I was going to places. So I'm very, very excited for this collaboration. Ciao Marcello, benvenuto. Marcello, one of my patrons from Friuli, or Friuli Venezia Giulia. Hi Safekeeper, nice to see you here. Bob Tartufo, hi there. Ciao Mary, noi vogliamo, I read it in Italian and I translate. Noi vogliamo i tuoi vlog sulle montagne stile Val Raccolana Monte Canin, così posso prendere spunto per la mia vacanza in Friuli Venezia Giulia di settembre. Bob says that he wants the style of the vlogs that I made on the mountains in Val Raccolana and Mount Canin, which were the vlogs of Friuli that I made pre-pandemic. So they're a bit old. I was visiting some quite isolated places on the mountains here in Friuli, and I visited 1 or 2 abandoned villages as well. And he says that he needs inspiration for his upcoming vacation in the region in September. So yeah, you're gonna get those. Just wait. Gabriele asks an interesting question. What is your mission, dear Mary? You are an Italian who makes us proud. Wow, that's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you very much. What is my mission? Good question. My mission with this channel, I think you mean. My mission with this channel is to promote a certain type of lifestyle and a certain type of behavior in our society. What I'm trying to do with my vlogs and travel vlogs is to influence my audience so that they get closer to slow traveling, for example, to traveling in a way that is respectful to locals, in a way that is cultural enriching for them as travelers and for the locals who are hosting them in their towns and in their areas. And especially, I would like to inspire people to live in a more environmentally sustainable way. So the fact that I choose the bicycle as a mean of transportation very often is because the bicycle is an amazing, sorry, I get other notifications on my phone, is because the bicycle is an amazing environmentally friendly mean of transportation. The fact that very often I take trains and buses for very long hours instead of taking a simple cheap airplane is because that way I save some air pollution from the airplane. And yeah, as you can see, I try to promote also touristy areas. I also try to promote tourism that is not in those big famous destinations. I got stuck with New York City, sorry. But I'm showing you many places to Friuli, and now many people are telling me I will come to visit Friuli because of you. I saw your videos and I decided my next vacation is gonna be in Friuli, and that makes me very happy. I would like to visit Slovenia, for example, and I'm also trying to promote more rural areas because I believe that we need to go back to enjoy the countryside. We need to go back from these big cities, big metropolis where we don't have that connection with nature anymore. We need to go back to find that harmony again, because otherwise our planet is gonna just get destroyed. And to me, colonizing other planets is not a solution. I'm sorry. Okay, that's enough for this question. Hi, Judith and Mel. Hello there, my dear female patrons and moderators of this chat. So Thank you to both Mel and Judith for helping me to moderate the chat. I hope you're good. B asks, can you suggest an Italian city to live in for a year? Very tempted to try this next year, thinking Rome. Yes, B, that's exactly what I was talking about right now. I'm trying to discourage people to either move or to visit always the same big destinations like Rome, Florence, Venice, what is that? Naples, Positano, Cinque Terre. Please don't go to these places. There are so many other beautiful places in Italy. Basically, the entire Italy is gorgeous. This is what I understood by traveling abroad, that this is one of the many peculiarities of Italy. Wherever you go, except very few areas in the peninsula, are exceptionally beautiful. And the quality of life is almost always very high. So you're thinking Rome, but I would suggest you to try with Orvieto, Viterbo, Formia, if you like to go more to smaller towns. There are so many towns that are around Rome that are not Rome, because, unless you want to try to live in a big city, then go to Rome. But if you want to try to live in Italy because you like the Italian lifestyle, the Italian cuisine, the Italian mentality, I don't know, then try some smaller place. Also because Rome and Milan, there are many foreigners living there. You don't get that 100% of Italian lifestyle. David suggests Ancona is nice. I've never been to Ancona, to be honest, but I've heard it's nice too. Ancona is a harbor city. How do you say? Yes, Ancona is famous because it has a big harbor and it is on the Mediterranean. So if you like to go to the seaside, to the beach, that's a very viable option, I think. Thank you everyone for the compliments on my necklace. Yes, Mel was right. She guessed right. This is a wedding gift from Alice's sister Meltem. So thank you, Meltem. I like it very much. Alessandro says, Rome is beautiful to visit, not to live in. I have to agree 100%. And I know what I'm talking about because I lived in Rome for 2.5 years and I hated almost every moment of it. He suggests choose Tuscany, small cities like Lucca and Siena. Sure, Tuscany is a viable option, but Tuscany is so... I don't know what Tuscany tourism office is doing, but literally every American I know who is going to visit Italy goes to Tuscany. Why? I mean, Tuscany is gorgeous, sure, but it's not more gorgeous than other Italian regions. Maybe it has more tourist infrastructure. Justin says, okay, but they should at least see Rome. Jane, I didn't want to go at first, but when I saw those old Roman structures and how massive and luxurious it is, they were respected. Yes, of course. Visit Rome. It's gorgeous. But I mean, you can visit Rome in a few days. You don't need to live there. On the contrary, if you live there, you're going to spend so much time waiting for subways and buses that are never going to arrive, or, I don't know, finding a way to get transportation to somewhere that, yeah, you're probably not going to have time to see all those archaeological, how do you say reperti in English? I'm missing the word. Bob Tartufo has a very good suggestion. If you like the sea and the mountains, then Abruzzo is perfect. And I agree with him. Abruzzo is not the only region where you can enjoy sea and mountains together. Absolutely. In Italy, almost every region has both sea and mountains, Friuli included. But Calabria is also a great example of that. In Calabria is all mountainous, gorgeous mountains that go straight into the sea, and the sea is one of the best looking seas that you can find in the whole Italy. Meriuk suggests Tuscany is famous because of the movies. Which movies? Tell me, because this is something that especially Americans have, I think. So there must be some American movie director that came to Tuscany to make some movies. But I think that's a good hint, the fact that an area might be very hyped because of a movie, because that's the same thing that happened to New York City, in my opinion. I gave a lot of thought about this topic, and I concluded that I think New York City wouldn't be as famous and wouldn't be as hyped if we didn't have so many Hollywood movies located in New York City. What do you think about this? I keep asking, every now and then I keep asking to New Yorkers or people who live in New York, what do you think that made you love New York City before coming here to live? And they always tell me the movies. And to me too, to be honest, I was that big fascination that New York City gives you, especially when you arrive for the first time, is the fact that you feel like you are in a movie. All these skyscrapers and the avenues and the yellow cabs. Yeah, there are so many stereotypes, I think. Ooh, I got so many likes to these live streams already. Thank you very much. Click a like to help me if you want. Okay, let's see what you are writing. David says, odio il film, I hate the movie, mangia prega, amore. This is, look, I know this movie because I think when I was a teenager, my friends took me to the movie theater to watch it. And it's with Julia Roberts, right? And she's like an American woman who goes to Tuscany, and I don't know if she was just divorced or something. She was in a middle life crisis or something like that. And in Italy, not in Italy, in Tuscany, she finds, I don't know, the love for life again and stuff like that. Bob Tartufo, puoi dirci qualcosa sul progetto della Via degli Dei? Via Francigena. So Bob is asking me about the project of Via Francigena, and I've only announced this on my Instagram account through stories so far. But Sandro da Fagagna, ciao Sandro. So I'm gonna walk along the Via Francigena from the end of August till the beginning of September. It's gonna be 8 days, I believe. And for who doesn't know what Via Francigena is, it's a pilgrim path that is actually very long because it starts in Canterbury in England and goes down through the whole France, through Switzerland. It arrives to Italy in the north, in the northwest, and then goes down all the way to Rome. And then there is an additional part from Rome to Apulia. So it's a very long ancient path. And this was like a pilgrim path, you know? And basically the association that manages this path, this pilgrim path, I don't know how to call it otherwise, has organized a a very beautiful event this summer just to relaunch the sustainable tourism after the pandemic, which is they started from Canterbury, England, in beginning of June. They started to walk the whole Via Francigena all the way to southern Italy. And every week or so, they change group of influencers. So they involved, there are one or two people from the association who do the entire path, but then every week or so, the bloggers or influencers change, and I'm gonna have the turn from Tuscany till Lazio, let's say. So that's it. And of course, I'm gonna make videos. It's a collaboration, so they are not paying me at all, but they are gonna offer me the accommodation and the food to eat. That's all. And they're gonna offer me also technical support. They gave me a pair of shoes from the sponsor of this thing, and they're gonna send me also a backpack from another technical sponsor. That's all. So I've been working a lot this summer also for this event because we had to arrange a contract, so it was a back and forth of emails and calls and stuff like that. And then I finally signed this contract, and then there are additional details. So a lot of work, a lot of time. Don Vito Cascioferro, do they walk all the way back as well? No, they don't. No, it's just a one-way thing. They're gonna arrive at mid-end of September to Apulia, so that's the end of the summer. B asked if it's like the Camino de Santiago. I think Camino de Santiago is a much more famous pilgrim path. And yes, you can compare it to the Camino de Santiago. We are gonna walk about 30 kilometers per day. So you start in the morning, you walk a few hours per day, and then in the afternoon you arrive to your next destination, next stop, and you rest, you have dinner all together, you go to sleep, and in the morning you repeat. And this is gonna be the very first time for me that I do a walking trip. And I'm very, very excited. It is something that I really wanted to try, especially this summer, because I was in Italy. And here these pilgrim paths are pretty common. There are several ones around me. And I think it's a very interesting way of traveling. And I have quite a few friends who do this every summer, or almost. They just take 2 weeks of their vacations to walk along an ancient path. And they walk long hours every day. And I think it must be a very meditative experience. I also wanted to try to do a cycling trip, which I have all my friends do this, especially my friend Erasmo from university. He does it every summer, even multiple. Right now he's in Austria somewhere. I called him the other night and he was like, "Oh, I'm in Vienna. I just arrived at 3:30 a.m. yesterday night and I crossed the entire Austria in a few hours." That sounds like such an adventurous and great way of traveling, because on the bicycle you are not as slow as by walking. Also, you have something to put your baggage on. You don't have to carry it on your shoulders all the time. But at the same time, you're not traveling by train or by bus or by car, which is much faster. By bicycle, you are going at the right speed to see many places, but still be able to enjoy each one of them. So I find it very interesting, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it this summer. I'm gonna leave it for the next summer. Liz asks, what's the longest bike ride you have done? Just a daily trip, probably 70 kilometers, not much. I've never owned a professional, not professional, like a, like a good bicycle. I've never, most of the money that I spent on a bicycle was $300 last year. The last one that I bought in New York City. And I've heard that I overpaid it also from a bike mechanic. So you can imagine what kind of bicycles I'm used to. Enrico says, I would like to see a video of yours in a beach. I don't go to the beach very often. I'm sorry. So that's why you're probably not going to see that. Labukid, have you ever been to Malaysia? No, I've never been to Malaysia, unfortunately. Hi, Matrix. Nice to see you here. Where am I? I am on the Italian Alps, on the Julian Alps, exactly. Gaetano David is an American whose relatives are Italian. So his Italian is not perfect, but we should appreciate the fact that he's trying to practice his Italian. I appreciate that. Himanshu says, hi Himanshu, first of all, nice to see you again. I haven't heard from you in a while. 30 kilometers is about 18 miles per day. Yeah, I didn't know that. So thank you for making the conversion for all our American friends. Alessandro said, I did the Tuscan part of Francigena. Simply amazing. Don't spoil it for me. Don't tell me. I'm very excited for this trip. Nicola Todaro, even Kungsleden in Laponia is fantastic. I've never been to Laponia, but it is an area of this world that I would love to see. I would love to see it. I don't have plans of going yet, maybe in the future, but have you taken a trip to Laponia? Tell me more about it. Ciao Giacomo in pausa studio. Giacomo is taking a break from studying and he came to say hi. Luca Cupido asks, com'è il rapporto dei friulani con la loro regione e storia? Wow. How is the relationship that Friulans have with their region and their history? Wow, that's such a deep question. Okay, I'm gonna try to not make it too long. So, up to the 50s, most of Friulans could only speak the Friulan language. Like my father, for example, he learned Italian in elementary school. And so up to that point, the Friulan society was very, very static for centuries. It basically never changed. It was a farming kind of culture, just farmers, how do you say, growing their own food, having some animals in the house for the milk, to make some cheese, and to eventually eat some meat and eggs from the chickens. And things started to change. And then, of course, there were the bigger towns, like a few bigger towns in the flatlands, in the plains of Friuli, that were a bit richer, more in contact with the Republic of Venice and the Byzantine Empire and with the Vatican because of the church. So they were a little bit more culturally more elevated. There were people who could read and write and maybe even understand Latin, stuff like that. The rest of the region was just farmers, pretty ignorant for the most part. Then in the 60s, things started to change. In the 60s, the industrialization came. So the agriculture started being more and more automatized. Tractors came and new industrial techniques came, and people started to go to work also in factories. So they became factory workers instead of being farmers. And of course, then in the 80s and 90s, also the terziario, I servizi, how do you say? Like the services, like the works, all the jobs related to services started growing, and we started being heavily Americanized. The entire culture started feeling the influx of the American culture, especially from the 80s. We started having on television American movies and American TV series. We started having American products and American foods. Coca-Cola came, and eventually McDonald's came, and people started to people started to work a lot and they didn't have time to cook anymore, for example. So in the supermarkets, you could find more and more microwavable frozen food, you know, like processed food and all these things. And so I would say nowadays Friuli is very different from the Friuli that my parents knew when they were kids, which was not very different from the Friuli that their parents knew when they were kids, if you know what I mean. So Friuli has been the same throughout the centuries, for centuries and centuries, more or less the same, until the 60s came, industrialization came, American culture came, and then within 50 years, everything changed very drastically. Nowadays, I don't know, I would say when I was a kid, I remember that people were ashamed of speaking Friulan. For example, during the 80s and 90s, there was this thing that people, is still going on nowadays, unfortunately, that many parents don't teach Friulan to their kids because they think that if you speak a regional language that's not elevated enough, it's not sophisticated, and you should only learn Italian and then learn English if you want. That's better for you. And so, you know, when the language goes away, the culture goes away too. These are, language and culture are two things that go hand in hand. So I would say it's very sad in the last few decades to see the Friulan culture fading away very quickly. But at the same time, together with this phenomenon of fading away, many associations and many even government entities started growing, started existing first of all, and then started growing. Organizations like the like the Philologic Society of Friuli, like the Friulan Agency for Regional Agency for Friulan Language, ARLEF. You know, magazines like Friulan culture magazines or newspapers, associations that want to promote the Friulan culture and you know, the Friulan language, and are trying to get people closer to that. And so yeah, this is the panorama right now. Right now, nowadays, 2021, I would say that we still have certain parts of the population that are ashamed of being Friulan or speaking Friulan, and they try to teach to their kids to not speak Friulan, only Italian. On the other side, there are many people like me, I'm in that group as well, who recognize their identity as being Friulan, and so they're trying to promote it and maybe speak the language more, maybe support events that are organized in Friulan language, or go to regional museums and stuff like that. And then there is the third group of people that are the activists. These are people that actively do something to promote the language and culture of Friuli. And these are all the people who work for Arlef, for the Friulan Society, the Friulan Philological Society, for Radio Onde Furlane, the radio of Friuli. And yeah, all these things. I hope I answered the question in not a too long way. Safekeeper, people trying not to be Friulan is really sad. Yes, I agree with you. For me, it's really sad, but you also have to understand their point of view, I think. These are people that are usually not very highly educated, so they don't understand how important cultural diversity is. All they see is that Friuli was one of those more less industrialized area of the north of Italy. We were a little bit behind. We were more conservative during this big wave of industrialization in the 60s and 70s. So they see, everything Friulan as something antiquated. And yeah, that's it. Elisa, thank you very much for the super chat. Grazie, grazie. Adam asks, Adam, what does it mean to you to be Friulan? Adam, I think you are from Great Britain. I think it's like asking you to tell me what it means to you to be British. It's my identity. It's where I come from. It's the place where I belong to and the people that I belong to. When I'm among Friulan people, even if very often they have completely different ideas than me, mentalities, opinion, view of the words than I do, I still feel like I belong to them. That's how I feel. Unfortunately, I must say, not many of my friends feel the same way. People who are my age, who have studied abroad, who have lived abroad, who are more like higher educated, they usually tend to stay abroad and to not have this strong connection with their place of origin. So don't think that every Friulan is like me, because it's really not the case. I would say it's more usually the lower educated people who feel a very strong connection with their place of origin for some reason, in my opinion, which is very, very sad. This is the saddest thing for me, that the higher educated people, they go away. This is for me the saddest thing, and I would love to try to contribute in reversing that movement, because I would like Friulans and Italians in general really to go abroad when they are in their 20s, do the Erasmus abroad, or do like a stage abroad, some kind of experience for a few months out of Italy, to open their minds, open their perspectives, but then come back and make their own culture richer thanks to what they've seen abroad. Ciao, Harry Tripp, 76, from the plains of Friuli. Mauro says, for kids, there are also cartoons in Friulan language. Very, very true. There's also a great app that is called, help me with that. It's like a kids app to learn Friulan, which I downloaded one day and I thought it was genius. How is it called? Oh my God. Giti. It's called Giti. Giti, which is a Friulan word for tickly. It means tickly, Giti in Friulan. It's a very funny name, I think. Guglielmo from Sicily says that I'm very sad. He's very sad for the fact that he's not able to comprehend the dialect. That's even worse than me, Guglielmo, because I can understand it Friulan completely. I'm not very much able to speak it because I'm not used to, but if I, force myself, I can speak Friulan. I'm very sad to hear that you're not even able to understand Sicilian. Also, when I went to Sicily, I found also a couple of people who were not able to speak Italian. That really hit me because that was the first time that I found someone within Italy that could only speak the dialect, and it was very, very hard for me to understand what they were trying to communicate to me. Because, of course, Sicilian, I don't believe Sicilian is considered a language. It's considered a dialect, but you can consider it like a language because it's like, Neapolitaner. It's a really articulated kind of language. Nick, do you speak German? Yes, I do speak German. Although my German is getting worse and worse, unfortunately. Marcello, I read this in Italian first. Beh, insomma, abbiamo delle belle industrie qui in Friuli Venezia Giulia, una è la Danieli e l'altra mi viene in mente il caffè e Nokia e Flex. I don't understand what you mean by that. E molte altre industrie di elettronica. Ce ne sono. He's just saying that there are many industries and factories here in Friuli. Totally true. Yeah, we have very big international corporations as well. One is exactly Danieli. Half of my friends that have studied at technical schools work in Danieli. Danieli produces, I think, like mechanical robots for factories. I think. Sorry if it's wrong. Oh my God. Another one is Pittini, which works with acciaio. Oh my God, that very strong metal. Steel. It works with steel. It exports internationally everywhere. Yeah, Fantoni is for in the building industry. No, Fantoni is not. Since. Oh my God, I'm getting confused now. I'm not very good at this. Sorry. Ooh, Charles asked. Just Kate in the meantime. Hello there. Hi, Kate. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you in the chat for 1 second. Charles asked, do people speak Etruscan in Tuscany? That's very funny, but it's a very comprehensible question. No, people do not speak Etruscan, if that's the way you pronounce it in English, in Tuscany. The Etruscans, for who doesn't know, they were an ancient civilization that used to live in the area that nowadays is Tuscany. They were a very high culture kind of civilization. They started forming, I think, right after the Greek civilization, and they lasted for several centuries. Now, don't ask me specifically because I learned these things in school and I kind of forgot about them. But then they were just swept away by the Romans, because the Romans started to take over the whole Italian peninsula, and they also, kind of stopped the Etruscan civilization. So in Tuscany nowadays, there is no as far as I know, I might be wrong. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I know, there is no Etruscan language spoken nowadays. And actually, Tuscany is the only region in Italy that doesn't have a proper dialect, because the Italian that we speak nowadays is actually Tuscan. So in the 13th, 14th century, people in the Italian peninsula started to, or better, the writers, the authors started to not only write in Latin, which was the universal language at the time, but they also started to write the spoken language. And the first authors that started to write the spoken language were some authors in Tuscany. So Dante Alighieri, which many know also internationally. Francesco Petrarca was another one. He was friend also with Dante, and a little bit later came Giovanni Boccaccio. These three authors, we studied them in school all the time because they were the ones who laid the foundations for the Italian language, and they were Tuscan. So that's why there is no proper dialect in Tuscany, because they actually speak Italian. Bye, David. Nice to see you here. Thanks for sticking with us. Mauro says something very true. A little piece of Friuli is in almost every airport in the world. Very true. And I say this not because I know it, but also by experience. Tell them about Solari clocks. That's very true. Solari is a company here in Friuli that makes industrial clocks. So every time I'm in some airport, and not only in airports, I think I've even seen the logo of Solari in New York City. It's really everywhere in the world. When you have like some kind of display that shows the time or the temperature or some more complicated information, very often you will see the Solari logo on it. And Solari is a company from Friuli. Sunshine softly, it was the fascinating Etruscans that drew me to Tuscany. Was not disappointed. And the Uffizi. I believe that the remnants of their language are still not deciphered. I hope I pronounce it right. Deciphered. Yes, and thank you for being drawn to Tuscany from this history of Etruscans, because that's very nice. I was talking in this live stream earlier about how good Tuscans are in marketing their region to mainly Americans, apparently, for who come to Tuscany for no particular reason other than the general beauty, which is in every region in Italy. Really, I don't think that Tuscany is more beautiful than Umbria, Marche, Lazio, Abruzzo. So I'm very glad that you know about the history of the region. Dario, sono del Friuli Venezia Giulia. Sorry, I'm reading your comments. Sometimes I forget that I have an audience and I start reading. Oh my God. This is so strange. Ooh, David, still about Friuli, he asks, tough question. Can you speak the Carnic version of Friulan? I wonder if it's the same language. Yes, it's the same language, but by the way, Carnia, for who doesn't know, is an area of Friuli on the Alps, in the western part of the Friulan Alps. And they have a very strong identity in Carnia. And they also have a very strong version, dialect, accent in Friulan. So yeah, I can understand Carnic Friulan, but for the most part, I would say, I don't think I've ever heard a hardcore Carnic Friulan speaking to me directly, but general Carnic, it's totally understandable, I think. I could not speak it for sure. Alessandro asked if I miss the States or if I want to remain in Italy right now. I do not miss the States. I am sorry. And I will remain in Italy till mid-September. And after that, I'm gonna be a couple of weeks in Paris to visit a friend of mine, and then I'm gonna spend the fall in New York City with my husband. And I'm very excited about that, especially because I'm gonna spend the fall with my husband. I'm not that excited of going back to the United States, although there are certain aspects of United States that I see myself missing maybe in a couple of months, because right now I'm still so much in love with Friuli and Italy, but I am for sure gonna miss certain aspects of America. New York in the fall is so cold. Alessandro, not so much colder than Friuli in the fall. Metric asks, are most people in northeastern Italy bilingual? Do many speak German, or are you more the exception than the rule? I am definitely more the exception. I know German just because I learned it in school, and especially because I lived in Germany afterwards during university. Although, despite Friuli being a border country that shares the border with other two countries, border regions, sorry, there are not as many bilingual people as you might imagine. So the people speaking both Italian and Slovenian are just the towns that are at the very border with Slovenia. And I would say same with Austria, if not worse. Austria is worse. Sorry, just 1 second. My neighbor checking on me, so nice. What I was saying, bilingualism in Friuli, not as many, but you have the possibility in schools to learn a second foreign language except English, and that's what I did. And many people, you know, if you go to the rest of Italy, many people would choose French or Spanish especially, but I feel like in this part of Italy, many people choose also German because we are so close with Austria, and especially because we have many German tourists coming. So it could be useful to work, simply to find jobs, to know German. Wo in Deutschland hast du gewohnt? Nick, ich habe in Freiburg im Breisgau gewohnt. Und in Berlin. Nur wenige Monate. I just said that he asked me where in Germany I lived, and I said I lived in Freiburg im Breisgau and in Berlin. Rocket Reindeer, the decor in your house is so comforting. Thank you. This is not my house, this is my family house, so I I cannot take the merit of decorating it. Maybe in Gorizia speaks Slovenian. It is a city divided between two states, for sure. Yes. Freiburg, schöne Universitätsstadt. Ja, ich weiß. The university in Freiburg is very big and very important. Maybe do a video of what you miss about the States. I would love to do that. Yes, I would definitely love to do that. That's actually a great video idea. Yes, definitely. The only problem is that I need to miss the States first, and I'm not missing them just because I had too much of them during the pandemic. But yeah, let's wait a little bit more time. I will. Okay, I need to read this comment. M. Bus wrote, everybody speaks Latin today. It is the most widely spoken language hidden in another language, English. That's, yeah. I don't think many people realize how much Latin there is in the English language. I think mostly Italians and Spanish do. And, you know, maybe Romanians. There is so much Latin in the English language, and in fact, the most sophisticated words in English come from Latin. So if you're Italian, for example, and you speak English, very often you will use certain words that for you are easier because they sound more like Italian, and to English-speaking people, they will sound very sophisticated. And sometimes people tell me, oh, wow, your English is so sophisticated. And I have to internally laugh because for us, it's really just easier to say, for example, the word sophisticated. You know, it's from Latin. We say in Italian, soffisticato, it's the same word. Or let me think about something else. Write me in the chat, all the Italians in the chat, write me some sophisticated English words that come from Latin that you would say, because there are many verbs, for example, that, you know, that in English you have this, how are they called? I don't remember. Those verbs like give up or get down, pop up, you know, this form with two words, they very often have a correspondent verb which is way more elegant and sophisticated, and it's the one that comes from Latin, and it's easier for us to say it. So, frivolities, egoist, yes. Matrix says the whole Indo-European group of languages used in Europe has its roots in Latin and ancient Greek. Very much truth. And about this, very, very interesting. So I just said, I know I can speak Italian, Friulan, English, and German, 4 languages. But I just realized that these languages are so incredibly similar because I just tried to learn a little bit of Turkish. And Turkish has nothing, literally nothing in common with these languages. And it was shocking for me, even to say yes and no. You know, every language has one syllable to say yes and no, right? Ja, nein. Da, niet. Si, no. Yes, no. And so on. In Turkish, they say evet, hayır. I took so much time just to learn to say yes and no in Turkish. Yeah, and in general, there are very extremely few words in Turkish that you can recognize what they mean. I cannot speak Dutch. And I also think with all due respect to Dutch people, that Dutch is the ugliest language I've ever heard. Again, it's not to offend Dutch people, of course. It's just, it sounds very ugly. But yes, multitude is another word. Primary, magnify. These are all words that sound sophisticated to you English speakers, but for us Italians, they are just exact translations of Italian because they come from Latin. Thank you, Alessandro. Himanshu says, from Sanskrit too. So not just Latin and Greek, but Sanskrit too. I don't know many words that come from Sanskrit, to be honest. I would be curious about that. Okay, okay, Ruth. No, Dutch is a beautiful language. Okay, I'm sorry. The Netherlands are such a beautiful country. People have such a great culture. It is constantly one of the happiest countries in the entire world, which does mean something, of course. It's just the language, the language and the food. No, come on. But yeah, I spent 1 week in the Netherlands when I was 16 because we did a cultural exchange with the school. So we hosted these Dutch kids for a week in Italy, and we went there for another week. The Netherlands has such beautiful laws, says Matrix. Yes, I think it's true, as far as I know, for example. Himanshu says, basic words such as father and mother have roots in Sanskrit. That's very interesting. Luca Cupido, that's also an interesting curiosity. All cities that end in Chester come from Latin because its root belongs to the Latin word castrum, which is a military city structure. Very interesting. I never thought about that. Chester from castrum. Never thought about that. The best language for me, I'm biased. Best in what sense? Because there are many. I don't know. In what sense best? Best for what? For the use, best for hearing, best for speaking, for expressing your complicated thoughts. I don't know. Ciao, Paul from Wisconsin. What is the medallion you are wearing today? This is my newest wedding gift from my, I think it's called sister-in-law in English. It's my husband's sister. Kate says, I found a lot of Dutch and German words very similar. That's true. That's very true. And because I know both German and English, I have the impression that Dutch is sort of a mixture between English and German. Yes. So I can understand many Dutch words, for example, even if, I'm not able to understand the full sentence in Dutch, but I can get a few words in the conversation because I connect them to German. Okay, other English words with roots in the Sanskrit from Himanshu. They arrived via Greek and Latin. Okay, that's how they came to Europe. Mater, meaning mother. Mater, mother. Sarpa, meaning snake. Yeah, that's very true because Sarpa is very close to serpente in Italian, serpentem in Latin. Naama, which means name in Sanskrit, which is Naama, nome, nomen, Latin. Very interesting. Thank you, Himanshu. Adam says Dutch is basically English. Maandag, Dinsdag, Woensdag, Donderdag, Vrijdag, Zaterdag, Zondag. Yes, but excuse me. Maandag, no, this is, no, wait. Let me show you something. Maandag, which is Dutch for Monday. In German, you say Montag, Maandag, Montag. It's more similar than Monday. Dienstag in German is Dienstag. It's the same word. Wednesdag or Woensdag, I don't know how it's pronounced. No, this one is not similar to German. But Donnerstag is Donnerstag. Donnerstag. Oh my God, I'm forgetting German. That's so bad. So you also have to remember that English comes from German, or better, from Germanic, from the Germanic language. So yeah, basically English comes half from Latin, half from Germanic. So it's the English language that is in the middle between these two. Marchigno says, I'm gonna read it in Italian first. Il tuo inglese è così comprensibile che è una grande iniezione di autostima per me. Poi torno a deprimermi su video in madrelingua. So, translation, your English is so comprehensible that it's a big self-esteem injection for me. Then I will go back to get depressed with videos in mother tongue. I'm very glad to hear. And the Norman invasion threw in French, Paul says. Yeah, that's very interesting too. Taylor says, I learned Spanish in school early, and it helped me have an easier time to learn Italian at my university. The words are so similar. Yes, definitely. I was surprised because everybody in Europe knows that Spanish and Italian are very similar and we can understand each other, even if we don't speak each other's languages. But I was surprised that in America, nobody knows about this. So very often, for example, when I'm in New York City, I speak to Latino American people and I can understand, a few words of what they're saying. And they're always like, oh, you can speak Spanish. And I answer, no, I'm Italian. And they don't understand the connection. And I explain to them that Italian is very similar to Spanish. And they are all surprised. Oh, really? I didn't know. Off topic. I like off topic. Let's change topic because we have been talking about languages for so long now. It's too long. Do you know something about finance? I can already tell, Talk about the financial analphabetism spread around the countries you lived into. Always if you found any difference. Ooh, very interesting. It's very interesting because you know what? My country is probably the worst in financial alphabetism. And I am the living proof of that because I'm terrible at finances. I don't know if in other countries they are taught about finances in schools, but in Italy you are not taught about anything about finances in school. So you come out after 13 years of excellent, excellent public education, but you don't know anything about how to do your taxes, how to manage your money, how to make investments. Literally nothing. I started learning something in the past few years from Americans, thanks to YouTube, and thanks to also when I went to visit my relatives in Canada, for example, they tried to tell me something about, how to invest your money, for example, which I had no idea about. Nobody invests money in Italy. Or better, wait, nobody invests in the stock market in Italy. It's really not something that, of course, I'm saying nobody, it's not nobody. I'm just saying it's not very common, especially for younger people. If you are in your 50s and 60s, then maybe, you start following the markets and invest some money. Yes, this is very different than the United States, for example, which I already mentioned. I couldn't say much about Germany, although I live there. Although I've had the impression that people of my same age in Germany were way more confident about managing money than I was. But in the United States, I can say 100% that they know about money. They have more information about money, about investments, especially about how to manage your money, than us in Italy. But there is a but, because they have the two extremes. Americans have all this information. They talk about money and investments all the time. So people of all ages have a good knowledge of that. But at the same time, I find it a very strange economy, because it's an economy that is based on debt. So people literally start their lives by being on debt and having to pay their debt back. So in United States, I don't know if all universities, but most of universities are private and they are extremely expensive. I'm talking about $20,000 to $60,000 per year. Crazy. Basically, if you want a university degree, you have to pay the same amount that you would pay an entire house just to get a university degree. So how it works very often is that the students get in debt because, of course, they don't have the money right away to pay this sum. And then when they start working, they literally work for the first few years to pay back their debt. To me, that's crazy. And the entire economy, as far as I've learned so far, is based on the concept of debt. So, for example, in order to get a loan from a bank, you have to have built a credit score. Is it right? Yes, I think it's called credit score, which means that you have to have been in debt and proven, so that you could have proven that you are able to pay back a debt. I don't know. I still have to understand this system. Yeah. Luis Martinez, Cuba has free education. Yeah, go Cuba! Italy too! Taylor says, yes, in the States, they encourage people to use credit cards always. Go to college and take out massive student loans, which I wasn't like that. Yeah, Taylor, that's exactly the impression that I got as well. For example, the credit card system is crazy in the United States. You have this insane possibility to collect points with your credit card. So every time you pay something with your credit card, you get, let's say, 2 or 3% of what you pay back, which I don't think it exists in Italy, to be honest. Um, but also on the other side, if you pay with credit card, you have to pay your loan at the end of each month, which again, this doesn't happen in Italy, or at least with my bank, it doesn't happen. I have a credit card, which, by the way, I created a credit card in order to go to America because my debit card wasn't working there, because I never felt the need to have a credit card in Italy. But at the end of each month, my bank pays automatically what I spend with the credit card. That's it. In America, a lot of the aspects of life have been financialized. Yes, 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 yes. Everything is about money in America, which is the number one reason why I don't have much sympathy for that country. Sorry, I'm reading all your comments. XWeb wrote, I look at data for an exam, and among women, the analphabetism is higher because they rely on the male partner. It was written. Is maybe this the case? What about you? You mean in the United States or in Italy? Because in Italy, there's definitely a cultural component. Women used to work from home, not work from home, how do you say, like be housewives. Their job was to take care of the family and the house until a few decades ago, I would say. Things have changed drastically, of course, but still nowadays there are still couples where they give for granted that the man is the one who has to work outside of the house and earn money and therefore manage the money. But there are also many families where maybe the husband is the one who works, but the woman is the one who manages the money that he earns. Or there are many families where the woman is the one who works and the man stays home with the kids. I wouldn't say there are many families like that, but I would say that the standard nowadays in Italy is that both parents work. And unfortunately, I think there is still the stigma that men earn higher salaries than women, which we are obviously trying to change. But that's all. Oh, Matrix. You know, my dad told me this. Okay, Matrix wrote, we still say, Matrix is from Croatia, that a woman holds 3 corners of the house. Literally, my father 2 days ago told me the same exact sentence in Friuli. So yes, that's how the traditional families, at least in the Mediterranean area, because I can speak for Turkey as well, I can speak for Spain, for Greece. The women were the one in the family that used to work at home, take care of the house, of the kids. They used to not earn any money for their job, work way longer hours than their husbands, do probably a way more exhausting job than their husbands, have no vacations whatsoever, and no paid vacations whatsoever. no pensions, and in general, their job not being recognized by anyone in the society. Kate asks if in Italy most people own their houses. Yes, I would say yes. I feel like in the past 15 years, the number of people who rent have grown. That's because people who are my generation are not able to afford to buy a house. After the 2008 crisis, Italy was hit very, very hard, and unemployment is still incredibly high in Italy, especially young unemployment. And who has a job is still not able to make enough to afford to buy a house. So I see more and more people who are renting now. Not planning to visit Dubai soon. No, I'm sorry. Will you return to the US? Yes, I will. I have a husband there that I miss very much. Um, yeah, I see many other questions, but I think that's enough for today. Oof, I see such good inspiration for conversations, but I think that's enough for today. And I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank everyone who raised questions, who contributed to the conversation. I've had a good time talking with you, and I'll see you soon. Maybe I might do another live stream this week. What would you think about that? Another live stream this week, maybe on Saturday. Let me know. Thank you to my moderators. Thanks, Mel, for participating. Thanks to Judith, if she's still here. And I'll see you next time.